Good evening. State authorities have a role in protecting all our communities. Rural New York is being targeted to meet New York State's CLCPA objectives through NYSERDA's industrial scalar solar and wind solicitations and punitive legislation like Section 94C. NYSERDA and related agencies have developed several biases, including lack of a diverse portfolio for significant conservation efforts. Intentional or not, they must be addressed. Lastly, New York State is not adequately considering disposal and other end-of-life issues. I've submitted written comments and included Glen FARMLand's report, of which I'm the co-chair, Rural New York for Sale, with a long subtitle that I won't subject you to at this point. NYSERDA has actively worked to open farmland to industrial scalar solar developers, and New York State has bent over backwards to assure big energy investors, often the same ones who bankroll oil and gas initiatives, get large profits at the cost of everyday New Yorkers. The renewables energy industry is about greed, not green. The tax department issued a very developer-friendly methodology in 2021 for valuing solar and wind installations, reducing local revenue. In 2020, NYSERDA changed how it identified agricultural lands, making it easier for Tier 1 developers to target farmland. My town's ag district was immediately targeted for a 2,000-plus acre industrial scale solar facility, most of it on USDA Class 1 to 4 prime land. And that was just the start. NYSERDA is now looking to defer agricultural mitigation payments in its next solicitation, paving the way for industrial scalar solar developers to target more ag communities. The renewables industry profit drive is being aided and abetted by state authorities to the disadvantage of rural communities. Panelly productive farmland impacts farms, farmers, and food security. NYSERDA's billion-dollar green bank features brightly lit nighttime cityscapes from across New York on his website. There's no green to be seen anywhere. The message of this profligate energy display is excess is good. Don't think about using less. We can use more and still defeat climate change. This is a bias towards consumption. Heat, the major component of climate change, is produced as a byproduct every time work is done. It doesn't care how the power is generated. It's also produced every time we convert one type of energy to another, like solar or electric. NYSERDA and other responsible authorities should underscore conservation as a tool in combating climate change. A recent LA Times article enumerated several issues associated with disposal of solar panels, including landfilling and stockpiling. New York State needs to immediately assess and publish the long-term impacts of these installations and the stress on host communities' waste management systems that will result. Just thinking you have more time to figure this out is the same as the oil companies saying profits now, responsibility later. NYSERDA lacks a fully diverse strategy for enacting the goals of the CLCPA. The authority fails to address end-user conservation efforts, and NYSERDA's two-note approach to generation, wind and solar, fails to protect rural communities. Instead, it targets them. It sacrifices farmlands, disrupts local economies, and makes rural communities vulnerable to predatory energy speculators. New York State...
Thank you very much. You can submit the rest of your testimony.
I have. Thank you.
Yes.